Welcome to the two sides of the story. I'm Kadhim Al-Wiley. In this episode, we look at the recent conflict in southern Syria between Druze community and the interim government forces backed by Arab Sunni tribes. The Druze have long protected their land and traditions. They control their province as Suwayda during the civil war, and they avoid to take any side just to protect themselves and protect their religion and their tradition from any outside threat. But the new interim government trying to unify the country, including Suwayda, to bring Suwayda into the greater Syria and the Druze community into the Syrian society. That's why they send their forces. And the conflict started. Of course, the Druze community, they are also armed and they are also backed by Israel, resisted the government forces, and the conflict resulted 600 casualties. Until now, Suwayda province and Jabal al-Arab or Jabal Druze became a war zone between the government and tribal forces versus the Druze forces. And the conflict followed by Israeli attack against the government buildings in Damascus, and it's a violation of the international law. The Syrian government has every right to protect itself and protect its national integrity and unity also. So the Druze, some says the Druze must integrate into the society and they must act as a Syrian citizen, not Israeli citizens. The Druze population worldwide, about 2 million people, and it's divided among 4 countries, Lebanon, Israel, Syria, and Jordan. They make 3% of Syrian population, and they are about between 600 to 800,000 people. In Lebanon, between 250 to 400. In Israel, about 120 to 145. In Jordan, about 30,000, and it's very, very small community. They are very close society, and they have own practice. Some analysts call them offshoot of Shia faith, but the Israeli Druze, they consider themselves as a sovereign religion, not part of Islam, and they're not Muslims. They are sovereign. It's a Druze, just like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism. The interim president, Ahmed al-Shara, promised the Druze to be respected and to be treated with respect and dignity. But there are a lot of footage. We've seen that the government forces element start humiliating the Druze community in Suwayda by forcibly shaving their mustache and shaving their beard. And that's why there's a lack of trust between the Druze and the government. And the Druze been enabled by Israel and Israeli forces to fight against the government. So this is one side of the story. So should the Druze separate themselves and their territory from the greater Syria? Of course, they are being persecuted by the Syrian government. The Syrian government led by former Al-Qaeda leader, and the majority of the generals now and officers are former Al-Qaeda and ISIS elements. They view the Druze as apostate. Anybody non-Sunni, non-Muslim Sunni is an apostate. Shia, Christians, Druze, Alawite, they all are the enemies of Islam in the eye of the new government. And the new Syria forces are not just Syrians, not just Sunnis. They are multinational forces. They're from Chechnya, from Uzbekistan, from Tajikistan, and they all came to fight against Bashar al-Assad regime during the civil war. And now they are embedded and integrated into the new Syrian forces. So these people, they have this ideology, killing non-Muslims, killing non-Sunnis, to get them closer to God, and it's blessed by their religious leaders and their political leaders. And that's why the Druze want to turn their territory as Suwayda, Jabal al-Arab, Jabal Druze, as an independent territory away from the Syrian government. But if this is Syrian conflict between the Druze and the government, why Israel got involved in this conflict? So the Druze follow their religion, not their nationality, not their ethnicity. I mean, they're Arab, they speak Arabic, but they believe in their religion without borders. Why they have a Druze in Israel, Druze in Lebanon, although the Druze in Lebanon, not led by a religious figure, led by a political figure who is Walid Jimbalat. In Syria, led by a religious figure. But the Druze in Israel are very, very powerful, and they are the only non-Jews who are accepted in the Israeli Defense Forces. And that's why they have a very powerful lobby in Tel Aviv, lobbying against the Syrian government, and that's why Israel got involved. Israel wants to expand its territory to the south of Syria to create a buffer zone, hoping to unify all the Druze in Golan Heights, in Tel Aviv, and in Suwayda, and other parts of Syria. Druze are very powerful. They're represented in the government, Israeli government, in the parliament, and the military forces, and everywhere. They have ministers, they have generals, they have soldiers, they have members of the parliament, the Knesset, and that's why they are influential in the Israeli political society. And one of the scenarios that Israel want to take advantage of this conflict and isolate Suwayda and the Druze community from the rest of Syria, then they can expand their operations into that areas, just like what happened in 1982 when Israeli forces invaded southern Lebanon. The difference between South Lebanon and South Syria, the Druze are more friendly to the Israeli forces, and they could create their own forces enabled and protected and trained by the Israeli forces. And also, if Israel controls southern Syria, that's a big chunk of land, so they can bring or remove the Gazan citizens from Gaza and place them in Syrian territories. But between this and that, there is always a gray zone. It can't be only black and white, and I will leave that up to you. You decide which story is more fair to you. Please subscribe for more debate where every story gets a fair fight. I'm Kadhim Show.